Hey, how's it going? Hmm. Okay. Why isn't this starting up? I hope this game doesn't give me any problems today. What the? Why isn't this loading? Worst stream in the world. What is this? God damn it. Okay. Um. Well, that's a failure. Hold on. Okay. The hell? Okay, there we go. Okay. So I think last times I played this when watching the intro kind of flagged me for copyright, so I won't do that. Let me start reading the guide for this. Hmm. What the? My mouse. Oh, it died. Heck's all this noise coming from? Okay. Perfect. Okay. Why can't I do window capture on my browser? And my mouse keeps dying. Gosh darn it. I'm gonna have to do. Gosh darn it. Whoops. Okay, hopefully nothing pops up while I'm doing this. Okay. The Nearly Ultimate Fallout Guide. Version 1.1, written and coded by... Coded? What sort of code? By Jarner. The main thing you will find in Fallout 1... Gosh, where are these noises from?
So it would be. Said any ideas on what this could be?
Okay. Main thing you will find in Fallout 1 is there is less of everything. Of course, it should come as no surprise that the first game in the series would be smaller than the sequel. Less equipment choices, less quests, smaller world map, less perks, less NPC control, but also less bugs. Having cut your teeth on Fallout 2, you may sometimes feel a little restricted in Fallout 1. Still, the gameplay and story are just as strong, and except for a few control interface issues that were improved for Fallout 2, you're going to love Fallout 1 just as much. What? One aspect in which Fallout 1 is not smaller than Fallout 2 is the overall level of kick-assness. Table of contents, introduction, preparations, character design, area walkthrough, Vault 13, Shady Sands, Vault 15, Raiders, Junktown, the Hub, Necropolis, the Glow, Brotherhood, Boneyard, Military Base, Cathedral, endings, encounters, NPCs, stupid. I heard about stupid combat items and addenda. Okay, hold on. Okay, introduction. I must digest this information. What the master? What? It began with the making of a very thorough Fallout 2 guide, and though I hadn't intended it from the start, I realized towards the end that I would be doing the same thing with Fallout. Although I did finish the latter game first, it was a sequel that captured my heart and prompted all this guide we're writing. Jeez, and this is the site that I used for Wasteland. For this reason, my perspective on Fallout in this guide will most often be that the sequel sets the standard and whatever is different in the original is the anomaly. This may be a little odd to veterans who lived a year or so with Fallout before the sequel was released, but that's the way it is for many players today. And in any case, the popularity of Fallout 2 today far outstrips that of its predecessor. At first, I wasn't sure if this new undertaking would add as much to existing walkthroughs, the game having been out a bit longer than the sequel, though probably not significantly so anymore. But I soon found that I would in fact be able to add another layer of research and detail to what was already written down. Sure enough, there were guides encouraging people to tag gambling and barter. Guides lacking substantial information about most anything, and guides written by self-styled experts containing vague, over-obvious, and incorrect expert hints. In fact, I didn't find any guide that didn't contain various incorrect statements, many of which have obviously been passed on or even ripped verbatim from one walkthrough to another. I would recommend Steve Metzler's Steve's Guide to Fallout for being clear and well written, though lacking in detail. Chris Smith's Fallout FAQ for being nice and written as far back as 1997, though as the title suggests, it's not a walkthrough. And Omkar Namjoshi's Fallout Game Guide for being ambitious almost to the point of being a second manual, though it has a high redundancy factor, thanks to the No Mutants Allowed administration and visitors for past and future help for hosting the guides. That's weird. I've been playing the English 1.2 UK version of the game using the something character editor for experimentation and adding children with Skynout's Fallout 1 children patch. That's weird. I've made good use of the script decompiler by Team X and Fallout 1 dat file extractor version 1.2, and even better use of the script decompiler Noid by Noid. I don't think there should be any significant difference from the US version except for the children thing. Please note that spoilers abound. The first time you play a game like this, you really shouldn't be using any kind of walkthrough whatsoever. If you don't care enough about the unique experience of finding out and doing things on your own to abstain from spoiling it, you probably have better things to do with your time than play a game at all. In case this is your first game, don't read beyond preparations. Of course you will anyway if you want to, so I don't know why I'm writing this. Alright, what was that noise?
Pineapple said, "Who the fuck is the other Tolo enthusiast?"
Okay. If you spot typos, have something to contribute, or want to complain that my inclusion criteria are arbitrary, please email me. That's weird. If you have a gameplay or technical question that doesn't have anything to do with the guide itself, unless it hints at deficiency therein, please turn to a message board. There are several on the net. Comments and additional information have been color-coded in the following imaginative manner. A green star marks straightforward, reliable information or advice. A yellow star signals some measure of uncertainty or speculation, but information given can be expected to be correct in board terms. A red star is used for highly speculative information, as well as massively peripheral or trivial comments. Blue star is used for general comments appearing in the area walkthrough section, which have a wider application than the specific context where they are brought up, such as character design, combat strategy, or general game behavior. Preparations. It's always patch you up, fix you up. The first thing you should do is make sure that your asshole, or I mean, your game is patched. What? If you have the European version, this is easy. You'll already have version 1.2. If you live in the US and for some reason, or for some other reason you own an old US version, you should download the patch to 1.1. If the game on your CD is 1.0, there shouldn't be a need to patch. I see. There shouldn't be a need to patch recent budget releases. What the patch does is fix several potentially game-ruining MMStat bugs and remove one of the time limits in the game. In the walkthrough, I'll assume your game is patched and refer to pre-patch oddities as some kind of ancient and slightly dubious history. If you have 1.2, you won't have any children in your game. To rectify this, get a hold of the children patch containing the US executable and the animation frames missing from the non-US versions. Note that this won't make children appear on already visited maps in existing games, though. Playing without children doesn't hurt the game as much as in Fallout 2. There are no working quests involving children. A great boohoo goes to Interplay for removing the children in the first place. Now, if 1 or 2 European countries disallowed the appearance of children in the game, or the player can take a rocket launcher to anyone he or she meets, why not make a low violence version and target those countries specifically, letting everyone else play the proper game? I guess there was children in the original version and they took it out. That's interesting. At least my UK version doesn't have any violence restrictions, but all blood and violent animations were removed from the localized German edition. I don't know what's up with German editions. There are at least 2 unofficial gore patches, some 30 megabytes or more in size, which add these back in, though. Refer to them or details of content and application. That's pretty interesting. I think I want to crop this window so you don't see it. Well, actually I could probably just do this. That's better. Let's see, Locutus ads. I have a 1.2 US version that was added to the game magazine and does not have the Maybe song in the intro. It just plays the glow music. Everything else is like in the normal US version. That's weird. There are a few known purely textural differences between the US and the UK versions. Concerning sensitive words, drug has become chem. Addiction has become craving. The reason why is anyone's guess, but if you've been wondering where I got this chem word from, that's the explanation. Save often. Ideally, you should quick save after every battle. Is there a quick save button that I didn't know about? and before every conversation, having to play even a few minutes worth of shooting and looting all over again because you made the wrong choice in a dialogue can be irksome. Of course, it may also happen that you realize only afterwards that you've done something wrong and wish you had not saved. I'd also recommend keeping a save game slot for each time you enter a new major location, town, etc. This way, if you really screw up somehow, only find out after you save, it can happen. You only have to replay that area. These saves can also come in handy later on if you want to see what would have happened if you'd done, goddamn mouse, differently in a particular quest. A little word of warning about quick save. As you probably know, the function is reset when you use the regular load or save commands. However, it does not reset if you exit the current game and start a new character. Once you fill up your quota of slots, you can use a file manager of your choice to make room for new ones. Just rename the slot or the save game folder, or just rename a save game folder those named slot 1 through slot 10. You don't need, for the moment, or something which gives you a hint of what it contains, like slot 2 shady. That slot will be free for use again. Then whenever you want to bring back an archived save, restore that folder's name to a valid one. You can use a similar trick to swap between whole save catalogs by renaming the save game folder to save game X or something else. This way you can juggle different games with different characters. A more realistic approach is the... I have to fix that.
Maximus said we should just call this Discord channel the Ragtime Mouse Fan Club face with tongue sticking out.
I see.
Pineapple said yeah prob not.
Okay. Sorry about that. Save game involves using a single save slot, reloading only if you die or screw up entirely. Or, yeah, by mistake, but not, for instance, if you fail some action or have second thoughts about something. Not recommended at all for beginners. Also, better use at least one. Better use at least one or more slot. One more slot for backup in case your save files are corrupted. An even more realistic playing style, called Iron Man, involves never saving the game at all, except between playing sessions. If you die, you're dead, and have to start all over again. Once you've started the game, I'd change the following default settings: combat speed, which I always turn up to max, check the box as well, target highlighting to on. What? I guess I could probably do some of that. Okay, once you start the game, change the following default settings: combat speed, which I always turn up to max, check the box as well. Turn our target highlight to on, helps you see what's happening to critters behind walls. target highlighting. Item highlighting. Target highlighting to on. And running to always. While working on the guide, I had difficulties set to normal, but any future games will be played on hard. Both game and combat difficulty, which unfortunately doesn't present that much more of a challenge. Let's see if there's any of this I want to change. I think I like the rest of this. Okay. If you hold down Shift and press the credits button on the starting screen, you'll get to read a quote file from the developers. Mature stuff. Quote file. Quotes from the Fallout team. Press escape if you don't want to see some raw language. I asked for atomically correct, but not naked. I appreciate the fact that question mark is only speaking to us when spoken to. So now that you are past the learning curve, you can blow up people much faster, right? How fast can you really, or can you draw a bunny? I didn't do it yet today because I was waiting for Leonard's head. Did you see Steven Spielberg go by? No, I was taking a piss. What? Blueberry muffins are one of man's crowning achievements. Out of my way, I'm a fucking genius. Dismemberment is just inherently funny. I had a wooden one, but Spence broke it. What? You can say penis, but you can't say cocksucker. What the hell? It's fun to make fun of people who are stupid. Crap is the hardest stuff to make. No, I haven't shot anyone today. But 15 is an even number, but 15 isn't divisible by 2. You know what I mean. I mean 15 is prime. I'll be going on to death at the end of the day. I'm tired of looking at that peanut. I only wash my nose. It's the only thing that gets dirty. I'm going to jujitsu his ass. I'll have to remember, or else I'll forget. You never know what wacky things I'm going to do with my hand. Sorry I'm late, but Mary needed marbles, and I had lost mine. It's fun hitting other people's balls. Going to kill this game. Do you want help putting on your bikini? What? I like to get them in the butt. I need more peasants. If I hadn't had sex, I would have called Tim or Jesse. Did you know you can talk to the people who don't have heads? We have a little bowl haircut kid, so you can tell if it's a girl, or if you can't tell if it's a girl when killing it. It's just a flag. What? I'll tell them to give me more exploding peasants. Do you need help changing his pants? I was getting home and getting ready to get some, and I remembered it was a holiday. What? I'd rather drink a bottle of urine than that. Rusty wants anybody he can have. Nicks are worn and falling apart in orange. I never let work interfere with my cooking. I don't want you to stop making them because it's the only time I get any. What? I vote for hate. That reminds me of Toxic Avenger, the unrated version. You know, we should lock down sex. What? How do I kill people? I need some dead bodies. Don't quote me on that. I had a weird dream involving Scotty, and I don't even want to remember it. What? I don't know where, or I don't know what we're going to do about it. I guess we're going to have to start cutting heads. Well, that's true, and that's untrue. But I like being a woman. I'm used to playing with myself. That's the essence of art, making it all work together. Did I tell you I broke my thingy? I want more randomness in my randomology. I can't finish the AI without drugs. Please do not make fun of my poop. What? I know how to tell males from females now. Excuse me, my butt did that. What? I'm going to kick you in the butt. Because it's soft and... or as a baby's behind. How did you know? Or how do you know? What? Let's see. I can do Troy. I used to be his monkey. I had one once, but I pumped it too hard and it broke. And I broke it. I stripped and wiped. Why can't I be a lesbian? I wonder what that thing hanging there is. I need more intelligence. At the same time, I want to make sure that I don't have dead people standing up. Stand up. Oh yeah, I saw dead people standing up. I'd model dust if I could. I'm on top now. I do a good cow. If he's on top of me, I'm gonna be pissed. If I was a girl, I'd do him. He won't be here when I get off. Well, I was playing with it last night, but I couldn't get anything to come out. Stop shaking my monkey. I like people who say poop. It's not unstable, it's just buggy, there's a difference. Instead of sexual urges, they get sucking blood urges. I like little boys who wear short skirts. His iguana stick is way too long. Fallout is by Americans for Americans, and the rest of the world can just get stuffed.
WTF.
Oh no, what happened? God damn it. Oh man. Made me skip all my things. Jerk. Hmm. Oh, what? Didn't even work. Huh, interesting. You can access some sort of recording mode if you press Ctrl R on the starting screen. You get to choose an area and run around it with max stone, but you can't talk to people unless you set off some script or manipulate objects except for opening doors.
I got you modied.
You got...
for being awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Too awesome to be mod. You should do /mods. Let's see, this also creates a self-run directory in your save folder where the recording is stored. When you're fed up, press Ctrl R again to return to the starting menu. If you now wait for a while, one
What
of...
happened?
Oh, I just purged all of my mods. I feel like having like a ton of mods in my chat kind of makes it so like people who aren't mods feel like they're not less important. So now I just have me. I'm the only mod. One of your recordings will start playing, more or less accurately. You can use this feature to view a few
Gotcha.
unused maps. Let's see, like the Ruined Brotherhood bunker. Okay, character design. Let me click here. Alright. Any of yours, some useful but too many twists. God damn it, Discord. Oh, that's Welshern's Discord.
What up?
Hey, Future Sickness, how's it going? I'll be going through stats, traits, skills, and stuff, making harsh and dictator-like judgments, and then follow up with a few resulting characters to start with. First, to start off with, your age doesn't matter, it's not checked in any of the scripts. Gender will have a small but insignificant effect on all on dialogues. Male characters can sleep with Cynthia for a price, and maybe carry for a minor benefit. They may also be taken for Death Hand in the Raider camp, which is not necessarily an advantage. If you are a female, then getting the systolic motivator from Michael will be easier if you have charisma greater than 5. But harder if you have charisma less than 5. You may have been meant to be able to pull a surprise attack on Harry with a female character, but all this does is initiate combat. A funny detail is that the Vault 13 security officer is always of opposite gender to the player character. That's weird. Don't use any of the predefined characters. They all have flaws. Gosh darn it. Natalia has Night Person and Albert has Skilled as well as Barter. One of the nicest things about most computer RPGs is creating your own character, or characters. Anyway, even if I wanted a Max Stone character, I'd make one instead of taking Max Stone. When allotting character points, there are some things to keep in mind. Strength, useful for carrying stuff and using weapons properly. Start out with at least 5, but strength can be increased by 4 points during the game, so more than 6 is probably overdoing it. Perception, good for ranged weapons, but not crucial. You should start with at least, goddammit. You should start with at least 5 for the awareness perk. Okay. Endurance determines hit points and not much else. Unless you'd like close combat a little too much, I wouldn't put more than 4. Charisma, not so useful, unfortunately. Affects bartering, both directly and indirectly, but does not limit your number of NPC followers. A CH of 1 is perfectly viable. Intelligence, unless you plan to rely on brute force for everything, this is likely your most important statistic, since it rules conversation and determines skill points per level. 7 is a good starting value. Agility determines your action points, so you probably don't want less than 6, and starting with anything up to 10 doesn't hurt. Luck, a high luck, is good if you plan on getting sniper or special encounters. If you don't care about critical hits, you won't suffer much from a low luck score. Otherwise, don't start with less than 5, or you won't get better criticals. Stats can never be effectively raised above 10. Every stat can be raised by 1 permanently during the game, except strength, which goes up by 4. So starting with 10 in any stat is a bit of a waste. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that that noise doesn't keep happening. Okay. In and luck can be raised by 2 permanently instead of 1 by taking advantage of scripting glitches. So if you're not above that, you shouldn't begin with more than 8 in those. Endurance and agility work in the same way that an odd score will not give you any significant advantages compared to an even number below. E.g., agility of 6 or 7 both give you 8 action points. Keep this in mind, but also keep in mind you can increase these stats by 1, which is why you may want to start with, say, 9 agility, not 8 or 10. Huh. The Fallout manual says you get endurance divided by 3 extra HP per level. The Fallout 2 manual says you get endurance divided by 3 plus 3. They're both wrong. The correct amount is endurance divided by 2 plus 2, rounded down. Interestingly enough, this is in the patch notes of both games. If you set intelligence lower than 4, your character will usually only be able to speak in grunts, unable to carry on any meaningful dialogue. Needless to say, this will severely impair your ability to take on and solve quests. But you can use mentats to help with that. Oh. Note that you can also use mentats in reverse during a normal game. Take 1 or 2 and wait an hour or 1 hour for your stats to drop below normal. If you want to take advantage of an intelligence less than 4 feature, Psycho is even more effective. For more details, see the stupid section. A strength of 5 is enough to handle all small guns. A strength of 7 is sufficient to wield all big guns and energy weapons. And in fact, ST6 is enough for everything but the minigun. Once you get the powered armor, you don't have to worry about this. Oh. Traits. Recommended traits. Small frame. If you plan on keeping at least 1 NPC around, this essentially has no downside. Even if you're going solo, it's not so bad since you don't really need to carry much junk around. One-hander. Many of the best weapons in the game are two-handed, but it's good for kung fu characters since the bonus applies for unarmed class. Weaponry. None of which is two-handed. Your basic hands and feet attack is unaffected. Finesse. Decent trade-off. Oh, not much explanation of what that is. Fast shot. A personal favorite because I like firing a turbo plasma rifle 5 times during a round. Jeez. Also goes well with big guns and burst weapons, obviously. Or yeah. Don't take this if you're a hardcore sniper though. If you get sniper or slayer, it rocks. What? Note the difference from Fallout 2, that it benefits hand-to-hand combat as well as ranged. Gifted. The stat bonuses counteract the skill penalties, especially if you put a few extra points in intelligence, so this is universally regarded as the best trait. I don't use it myself because it almost feels like cheating. Or at the very least, it spoils the challenge of balancing your stats. If you raise your stat with Bruiser, Small Frame, or Gifted, you can redistribute the extra points manually. So think of them as extra generic character points, although technically this is not so. which is reflected in the fact that you can't lower the raised skill below certain values, but that should never be a problem. Potentially useful, but not overwhelmingly or over worthwhile traits. Okay, hold on. Heavy-handed, some extra damage early on for hand-to-hand characters, but not so good in the long run if you plan on getting better criticals and Slayer. Jinxed could be useful in a pure and weird hand-to-hand game. If you or your party members are using guns yourself, you shouldn't want to randomize combat unless you're always worse at it than the critters you'll be fighting. In which case you may want to rethink your party playing style entirely. Good-natured, decent if you only plan on using one combat skill, i.e. small guns, or obviously if you don't plan on using any combat skills, otherwise you might as well choose something else. Bad in a stupid game. Traits to avoid. Fast metabolism, both effects are utterly marginal, so it's simply an utterly marginal trait. Bruiser. 2 or more stat points, but you need the AP. That's like losing 4 points of agility, which is ridiculous for an hand-to-hand character. Kamikaze, trade away protection for a sequence, which matters only during the first combat round. No thanks. Bloody Mess. Could be fun to begin with, doesn't do anything in game terms, and gets tiresome. You'll see those animations anyway, and it will feel more like a reward without this trait. 1 second. Night person. This is very bad considering how many people will only talk to you during the daytime. Could be used in a stupid game, but I wouldn't bother. Skilled. With a decent intelligence, you'll be swimming in skill points. A horrible trait. Avoid like the plague, unless you have an intelligence of 1 or something, though it beats me why you would. Chem reliant. The average time you spend being addicted won't change. So what's the big deal? Chem use is marginal anyway, and most players will probably just reload if they get addicted. Chem resistant, a convenience if you're playing a chem user, but even so, it's little more than that. You don't have to reload as often. Skilled is bugged in a way that you don't get the extra 5 skill points per level you're supposed to get. If you want to simulate this effect, you could give yourself 2 to 3 levels of educated perk using a character editor. Although Bloody Mess does have one beneficial function at the end of the game for good characters, that effect can be achieved by other means. Alright, skills. Recommended skills to tag, unless you're going for a stupid game. Small guns. Your primary combat skill for most of the game can be used all the way to the end. Okay. Lockpick, there are many locked containers and doors, and you'll want to open them with a minimum of us. Getting it to 70 to 80% may be enough for you to, or if you use lockpicks, or raise it to 100% just for the convenience. Speech, because you want people to like you and be impressed with you, and give you quests. Generally do what you tell them to do. Oh, and generally do what you tell them to do. Tag these and bump them up to around 100% early on, except possibly small guns if you want more use out of those guns and bullets magazines. It will pay off. Eventually, you'll want a combat skill at, let's say, 150%, unless that one is small guns. Choose one of the following according to preference. One of these would probably be a tag skill instead of a speech in a stupid game. Let's see, energy weapons, the best combat skill during the final stages of the game. Unarmed, some prefer this to melee weapons, mostly because the power fist doesn't have knockback. Melee weapons, neat once you get the super sledge. Limited use early on. Skills you need not spend points on. Big guns, only used late in the game, and not as effective as you'd think either. Throwing, rocks and grenades simply don't play a huge role in the world of Fallout. First aid, since it starts out higher than Doctor, you'll probably be using this some at the beginning of the game. Once you get to the hub, you can raise it to 90% using books, and you don't need them and you don't need more. Doctor, pretty marginal. You can fix a broken limb at a very low skill level, and other than that, you're fine with first aid, stim packs, and natural healing. Sneak, not overly useful, and it doesn't work in many of the situations where it would have been good. Steal. You don't need to steal stuff for...
Muxibot said Vels Haroon is hosting BloodLustr for 0 viewer.
Oh, Velsharoon, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Steal, you don't need to steal stuff for the trade value. Stealing ammo and chems before combat is lame. And there aren't many other uses. Traps. There aren't that many traps in the game. Actually, they're not likely to kill you. You can raise it a little for convenience, but you don't really need to. Science can be raised with books to 91% once you reach the hub. You don't need more. Repair, see science. Barter, you don't have to trade much, and CH is more important for that anyway. Gambling, you don't need to get money by gambling. Outdoorsman, see science. Your number of available skill points are capped at 99 when you level up. You can have more than 99 points stored after getting a skill point perk, but only until you level up next time. You can turn down the difficulty level to raise your non-combat skills temporarily for a specific action. Many players actually favor the sneak skill, as in some situations it will let you kill people without anyone noticing, which is useful in assassinations, but this doesn't always work. Or sneak up to them before applying hand-to-hand pain. Unfortunately, many proximity scripts and similar don't bother to check whether you're sneaking or not. It doesn't help when stealing from Killian's tables, for instance. I'll put a couple of steal notes here because they don't seem to fit anywhere else. You gain a bonus or suffer a smaller penalty stealing from the back or side of someone. but the sneak skill does nothing. Item size, which is not the same as weight, is a factor unless you have the pickpocket perk. Regardless of your skill level, you can use steal to see what humanoid critters are carrying, although you won't see items they're holding or items that they produce during the course of a quest. If you manage to steal and or plant an item 2 or more times in succession, you gain an increased amount of XP for each successful attempt. 20, 30, or 10, 20, 30, and so on. Meaning the total will be 10, 30, 60, and so on. This amount doesn't seem to be capped by your steal skill level. In most shops, you can't use steal on the shopkeeper because the wares are kept on in an on or off-screen container when you're not talking to the shopkeeper. Miss Stapleton's one exception, though she normally keeps her books away. In the case of Beth, Mitch, and Jake in the hub, stuff will appear on the body of the shopkeeper. If you kill them. You can plant items on people using steal. You can use this feature to give equipment to your NPCs, to kill people with explosives, and in one quest. As a rule, it's not worth it to raise most skills above 100%. Combat skills can be improved beyond that for an extra edge until you reach the point where you get the maximum 95% chance to hit against all opponents from any reasonable range, which takes a bit longer if you practice the art of aimed shots or blows. Even if you raise sneak and steal to their maximum values, you still get caught a lot, suggesting your chance of success is capped at 95% before negative modifiers are applied. In fact, testing shows no significant difference between steal 30 and steal 200 under pretty normal circumstances. Note, however, that it doesn't cost more skill points to raise a skill at higher skill levels. Jeez. There's a lot of reading here. Perks. The 3 top perks. Awareness, extremely useful. This should be your first perk. Bonus hand-to-hand attacks, wonderful for brawlers. Bonus rate of fire. In conjunction with fast shot, this is so good. Well, it's good regardless. If you don't have the stats to meet the requirements of a perk, you can, in some cases, use drugs to raise them temporarily and get the perk. It took me several games to realize this, but this does not work with perks that have a luck requirement, for instance. Check out the chems in the item section for details. This is made easier by the fact that, unlike in Fallout 2, you can reap the benefits of any number of doses at once. Also remember, you must spend each perk before earning a new one. Recommended perks, number of ranks in parentheses. Action Boy, good for most characters, depends on your current action points and what weapons you plan to use. Better criticals, yummy. Bonus move, replaces Action Boy for hand-to-hand characters and arguably pretty useful for anyone. More criticals, 5% isn't that much, 10% would have been good. Still better than in Fallout 2 since you'll never get Sniper. Slayer, the ultimate hand-to-hand perk, and unlike Sniper you don't need to make a luck roll, but you probably won't get it in a normal game. Sniper, the Sniper perk. Problem is you only get to use it at the very end of the game, if at all. Michael Berger puts in, the bonus move perk is for an hand-to-hand character far superior to Action Boy/Girl. which you suggested because your enemies tend to slide 1 to 8 hexes after you hit them, so you almost always use up all of your move-only action points. Even if you have 2 levels of this perk. Another advantage is that you can get bonus move at 6th level compared to 12th level for Action Boy. I can never find any good perks at the early levels, so I almost always go for toughness and bonus move. And some extra move AP can be still useful even in the ranged combat for hiding behind obstacles. Bonus move perk is bugged so that if you save and load the game in combat, your extra movement AP will be available for use again, allowing you to move any distance in a single round. What? Bonus move perk is bugged so that if you save and load the game in combat, your extra movement AP will be available for use again. Oh my gosh. On the other side of the coin, if you run out of normal AP, your turn ends whether or not you have extra movement AP left. Possibly useful, but not crucial perks. Dodger. Protection is good. Quick pockets, like a restricted Action Boy, available on level 3. In fact, I think this version is more balanced than the one in Fallout 2. Tag can be used on energy weapons late in the game for lots of skill points. Toughness, protection is good, but spending character points on endurance is not, so take buff out if you want this. You can play a little trick with the tag perk. When you use it to tag a skill, it will raise the skill level by the same amount you already raised the skill, including bonuses gained during play, plus 20%. The trick is that before leaving the character screen, you can lower the skill to its previous level, but not below 20% plus your base value, and then spend the points elsewhere. Effectively, this perk can give you an amount of generic skill points equal to 20 plus the highlighted amount you've gained in a non-tag skill, which makes it far superior to every other skill point perk. No big deal, since I don't care much for the skill points late in the game anyway. When you pick a skill point perk other than tag, you can redistribute the points only to the extent that you have previously raised that skill by investing skill points, reading books, or getting one-shot bonuses. Perks, I rather doubt the usefulness of. Bonus hand-to-hand damage should have been a lot more damage, but you'll have to get all 3 levels to notice any difference. Note that this perk only adds the maximum damage. That's only 1 point on average for each perk slot. Bonus range damage, not nearly enough of a bonus unless you're using a minigun. My mouse just died. Explorer. God damn it, mouse. Improves your chances of finding special encounters, which is good at low luck, but seems a bit vague. Could have been okay at level 6. Life Giver. Once you reach level 12, your maximum number of hit points won't be so important anymore, and there aren't too many levels to go anyway. Pickpocket. Need for thief characters, I suppose, but if you failed at stealing, won't you just quick load? Silent Death. Guess which one of this and Slayer you should choose at level 18. Then after eventually reaching level 21, you'd want to put skill points in Sneak to make one of your attacks do double damage. Silent Running. If you must play a sneaking character, I suppose this takes a lot of frustration out of playing, but doesn't it spoil the atmosphere? A convenience perk. Smooth Talker. The closest thing to gain intelligence in this game, but I'd start out with a good intelligence instead. strong back. Carrying more stuff can't be wrong, but spending perks to do this is especially if you have an NPC. The Life Giver perk gives you 4 extra HP for each new level in addition to 4 HP you get just for taking the perk. The manual forgets to say this, but it's in the patch notes. It's possible to score more than one double damage hit in or with silent death in the first round of combat, assuming you can position yourself behind 2 or more enemies without leaving sneak mode, which is difficult if you have to pass directly in front of them. Less perks, which should only be useless perks, which should only be chosen if you have no other options or really want to. Animal Friend, well, how useful is this? Cult of Personality, Presence. The potential benefits of these perks are frighteningly small. Earlier sequence, not worth it. Educated, Master Thief, Medic, Mr. Fix-It, Speaker, all these perks give you nothing but skill points. You don't need more skill points, you need perks. As for Educated, if you get it at level 6 and then level up 10 times, you've gained 20 skill points. Over time, some guide writers recommend it. Empathy, it seems like a great idea in theory, but this game simply isn't about choosing the dialogue options that keep other people happy. Faster Healing, Healer. Healing rate is never an issue. Flower Child, convenient for a chem character, but using chems sucks. Fortune Finder, Master Trader, money is not an issue. Fortune Finder is simply awful. Master Trader isn't actively bad, but strictly unnecessary. Friendly Foe, no. This is free in Fallout 2, as of course it should be. That's where you can see your friends as green instead of red. Ghost, like a skill point perk, only you don't get the skill points. What? Hefo, strictly for grenade chums. Exceptionally marginal, even so. Mental block, there's no need for this at all. Mutate, don't waste a perk changing traits in mid-game instead of choosing right to begin with. Well, it would be okay to change Finesse into Fast Shot at level 21 after getting Sniper and having a high luck, but if you get to that point, you're not playing a regular game anyway. Mysterious Stranger, utterly useless. Night Vision, situational, doesn't do much. Increase your weapon skill instead, or even pick Sharpshooter. Pathfinder, time is not an issue. Or, well, maybe it is, but not this important. How's it going, Tezza boy? Rad Resistance, Snake Eater. Poison and radiation aren't common enough, or difficult enough to handle, to necessitate these small bonuses. Ranger, random encounters aren't that bothersome. Scout, pointless. Scrounger, you don't need this. Sharpshooter, effectively just a minimal skill increase for ranged attacks. Raise your preferred weapon skill instead and use the perk for something special. Survivalist, look, if you take all 3 levels of this perk, it will make it virtually impossible for you to get caught in a rock slide when traveling and get hit for 2 points of damage. It is a must. Guessing that's sarcasm. Swift Learner, this helps you gain levels. What's the primary purpose of gaining levels? To get perks, so why would you use perks to gain more levels? Let's see, the effective size of the discount granted by Master Trader varies between shops, roughly about 15%, 30% range. This is probably because barter modifiers are applied cumulatively and not sequentially. If you have only one trait when you get...
Is there a party going on Discord?
Party going on Discord? What do you mean by party? Let's see, if you have only one trait when you get mutate, you must exchange that for the new one. You can't just refill the other slot and keep the old trait. In level, or in version 1.
And cheap alcohol.
Oh, I mean, there's no alcohol there. I have no idea what anybody looks like, so I don't know. In version 1.0, you can reportedly use mutate to change gifted into something else, but still keep the stat points. The effect of night vision varies depending on the nighting conditions and your number of perk levels. Each modifier threshold you cross gives you plus 15% to hit with a ranged weapon, or a maximum of 30% in complete darkness with 3 levels of night vision. At other times, any specific level might not do anything at all. Frank Shannon notes that night vision adds some clarity for people with dark monitors. Sharpshooter is bugged and doesn't really do what the manual says. It's supposed to raise perception by 2 for sniping purposes, yet often improves your chance to hit less, or never more, than increasing PE by 1. Michael Berger figured out that this is because the perk thinks range modifiers are calculated based on PE when it is in fact PE times 2, and so increases your chances to hit only half as much as it should. At least it gives you a bonus even if your PE is at 10 already. Swift Learner is even worse here than in Fallout 2. Since you can't go beyond level 21, it may seem like a good investment when you first look at it, but since the XP requirement for each new level rises linearly, even if you get all 3 slots of Swift Learner, you only ever stay at most 1 level ahead of someone who doesn't ruin their early game wasting invaluable perks. And for that, you'll have to wait until level 17. So that adds up eventually to a few HP and skill points for 3 perks. Do not choose this perk ever, 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 ever. Suggested characters. I think I might make one of these suggested characters. First of all, none of that themed character nonsense, like tagging science and repair and choosing tech perks like Educated and Mr. Fix-It, or tagging Sneak and Steal, then choosing ninja perks like Ghost, Pickpocket, and Silent Death, or even tagging Speech and Barter and picking diplomat perks such as Presence, Empathy, and Cult of Personality. Well, of course you could do that, and probably even finish the game, but in that case it'd be pointless for me to tell you what to do. Also, I don't think you could squeeze as much out of the game as you could with a generalist. For one thing, those options will be more or less available to you anyway by the time you need them. For another thing, there are very few advantages, either min-maxing wise or role-playing wise, to be gained from being an expert scientist or expert sneaker. Really, wonderfully flexible as a special system is, some characters are bigger than others. What you really need is good intelligence for dialogue and skill points, good speech, and at least one way to deliver damage efficiently. You then basically have a choice between ranged or close combat because the progressions are different. Or you can be stupid, which is the same as devoting yourself entirely to combat. Note that most skills depend very weakly on your initial stats. Speech is 25% plus charisma times 2. That's compared to charisma times 5 in Fallout 2. So that your intelligence mostly determines how many secondary skills you'll be able to raise to a fair level, and no skill is a lost cause from the beginning. The developed stats given below don't include the extra 2 stat points you can get by exploiting glitches. If you're going for those, you can make the necessary adjustments yourself. I can make a sniper. Clever character that can solve all quests and finish off bad guys easily, which sort of summarizes what you do in this game. So these would be the stats I'd get. Developed stats would be up here. You have traits, tag skills, perk progression, comments. Later in the game, you'll have to choose between building energy weapons or sticking to your old sniper rifle. Optionally, drop either trait in favor of fast shot. Gifted sniper, a boosted version of the above. If you want perception 10, you could always take small frame instead of finesse. Brawler, the main objective with this one is to attack lots of times every turn with the super sledge. Apart from that, pretty much the same as above. What? Take mentats to meet the perception requirement of better criticals. You may have to postpone the big fight with the raiders, since you'll be weaker at the start than the small guns character. When you get the super sledge and bonus HTH attacks, come back and whoop their asses. Stupid, be stupid and don't do any quests and just kill everyone and everything you don't like. Comments. You need 2 mentats for bonus rate of fire. The mentats are the same whether you choose ranged or combat, or the stats are the same whether you choose ranged or combat, range combat, or HTH, hand-to-hand. And the given perk progression will let you stick to both styles. Don't worry about Slayer, you'll never get either of those 2 anyway. Raise small guns early on and melee weapons once you get a decent weapon, or stick to one of the sniper or brawler perk progressions to optimize one fighting style. Stat increases require the use of mentats, and it's assumed you don't get the intelligence rise. Reputations, okay. So I should probably pick which character I want to make. I made like a brawler last time. I think I might do gifted sniper this time around. Reputations. During the game, you may accumulate 1 or 2 characteristics which are neither perks nor traits, but presented alongside them. They're often called karmic traits or even perks, but the manual calls them specific reputations. They don't affect your stats, only how people in the game world react to you. Berserker kills significantly more good people than bad people. Champion kills significantly more bad people than good people. Child killer, kill a child for any reason, even by accident. Although you get the child killer reputation after killing 1 child, you need to kill 3 before the people of the wasteland actually start regarding you as a child killer. This doesn't have any overpowering effect though. In the walkthrough I'll write child killer when it really should say having killed 3 or more children. If any of your NPCs kills a child, you don't get the child killer reputation. For most characters, the reaction system is entirely forgettable. It is in fact impossible to get a bad reputation, even with charisma of 1, unless you have child killer or berserker. have negative karma or go out of your way to insult people. The factors involved can be summed up like this. Each point of charisma is +5, each level of presence perk +10, karma equals plus the amount, child killer equals -10, champion equals +20, berserker equals -20. If the sum is 0 or below, you get a bad reputation. If it's 51 or above, you get a favorable reaction. Oh, bad reaction, favorable reaction. Everything in between is a neutral reaction. This calculation is made only when you first talk to a critter. Although things you say to them may nudge the result in either direction, or in the vast majority of cases, neither approval nor disapproval has any tangible consequences. With cult of personality, the resulting karma modifier is always positive. Surprised that the effects of karma and champion/berserker are not reversed for evil critters? Well, that's in part because there are no evil critters in the Fallout world as far as the reaction system is concerned. Due to what appears to be a huge oversight, none of them is flagged as such. Everyone in the wasteland will respond well to heroes and badly to scoundrels. When it comes to reaction, at any rate, it also means cult of personality will only come into effect when playing a character with negative karma. Ironically, in Fallout 2, the good-evil variable is in place, but the reaction system is hardly used and cult of personality has no effect at all. Radiation, jeez, so many things. Ugh. And now for some stuff on radiation, which does play a small part in the Fallout world. The only prominent source of radiation is the dreaded glow. Whenever you get a huge dose all at once, the message window says you have received a large dose of radiation. As far as I can tell, radiation damage works like this. Sometime after you absorb a dose of radiation, you'll get one of the messages listed below. You may temporarily lose stat points, healing rate, and current hit points. The severity of the attack depends on your total rem count, but also on the amount of recent radiation that triggered the message. After 7 days, your stats will return to normal. A little confusingly, this is signaled by another message identical to the first one. If you absorb more radiation in the meanwhile, your current penalty may be replaced by a more severe one. Here's a list of the penalties you may suffer. The rem figures are a rough approximation. Jeez. So rem less than or greater than 0? Oh, okay. Very nauseous. Greater than 150, slightly fatigued. I don't know what these line up. Oh, -1 to strength. Okay. Greater than 300, vomiting does not stop. What's this? HR? Is it heart rate? That's weird. Let's see. What's this? CHP. I think this is strength, perception. What is CHP? Okay, greater than 450. Hair is falling out. -5, -5, -2, -1, -2. Greater than 600. Skin is falling off. Greater than 1000. Intense agony. Interesting. You will expire from your condition if any of these stats, except for healing rate. Oh, it's what HR is. Drops to 0 or below. This is checked only at the moment when they are lowered, so you may be able to use drugs to stay alive. Assuming you don't die in this manner, you can live with any kind of RAM count and still run around with no penalty whatsoever. From what I can tell, there was never any permanent damage resulting from radiation. In version 1.0, your stats didn't reset properly after serious radiation conditions. Instead, they increased above their original values. Gosh darn. Okay, this is the area walkthrough. And then it seems to be a brief introduction to the area walkthrough before the area walkthrough. I think. Well, there we go. There's Vault 13. Okay. Area walkthrough. I know who you are. You are walking death, plague in human form. Where you step, blood flows like a river. Each area walkthrough follows roughly the same pattern. First, a general rundown of important people to talk to, things to do that aren't technically quests. Then a numbered list of quests, just as they are represented in your Pip-Boy. This is not strictly a walkthrough in the do this then do that sense, but there's enough information and general advice that you should be able to figure out how to do stuff and have more fun in the process. There are no hidden world map locations, i.e. they'll all be there for you to find even if you didn't hear about them from anyone. There is, of course, one crucial time limit in the game for returning with the water chip. After that, there was a 500-day time limit in the original before the mutants found Vault 13, which was removed by the patch. What the heck? There's a hard-coded time limit of 13 years, which you cannot avoid, but it shouldn't be much of a problem. Finally, you must enter Necropolis within 110 days if you want to experience that area properly, which could be regarded as a talent of sorts. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I didn't go to the Necropolis within 110 days. Here's a few hints and tips compiled into a handy list. Be polite. If you tell people you like to eat children, they'll like you less. Most of them. Some may even refuse to speak with you further. Put away your weapon when you're not using it. Aside from the fact that you'll open doors faster, many more people than in Fallout 2 will react negatively to guns being shoved in their faces. Also, many more people will be busy or sleeping during certain hours of the day, usually the night ones. Lots of times you'll only get one chance to talk to people. After you leave dialogue, they might present you with different conversation options or only give you floating dialogue. At other times you may only be able to access a specific thread once. Another big difference from Fallout 2 is that there are many more random skill and stat checks as opposed to fixed value requirements. For one thing, this tends to randomize the game and reduce the differences between various character types. For another thing, the threads where you must pass a check are often ones you cannot revisit. For this reason, you might want to save before every conversation, even if you know what you're doing. Not every skill check in the game will be listed in the guide. Try to catch non-speech checks in dialogue. Most others should be pretty obvious. Check bookcases, lockers, etc. for stuff and take it. Places where you can get into trouble for trying to loot containers, raiders, necropolis, Raslow's bookcase are mentioned in the walkthrough. Also, look for items on the ground. I'll usually only list such loot if it's something special. Tell me abouts are only for additional flavor and information, usually trivial and or already known. And never set variables or trigger events. You can forget about them completely if you want. Some talking heads have many extra sound clips for them, though. Try asking Loxley about Boneyard and Razor. Oh. What the heck? Okay. Some talking heads have sound clips for them. Try asking Loxley about Boneyard and Razor. Wasn't that a wasteland thing? Items on the ground or in corpses do not decay, so you can return and pick them up later unless they're on the map. On a map you can't return to. However, to pick up an item, you must be able to click on it. So if a dropped item or a corpse is completely hidden by opaque scenery, then it will be lost. When bartering, the game never checks for weight. What's more, you cannot be overloaded, so you can actually barter for more than you can carry and run around with it. But while you do, you won't be able to pick up anything, even weightless stuff like bottle caps or stim packs. While not so useful for a solo character, this has a significant impact on the mule capability or capacity of NPCs. It should be noted that not all dialogue options described in this walkthrough will be available to a character with middling ability or skill scores, typically int or intellect or speech. In some of these cases, you can try chewing mentats if you have them. Intelligence of 7 is enough for virtually all important dialogue nodes. A general cheat/bug, pressing 0 in any conversation will instantly end it. Huh, what? How's it a cheat? For instance, if someone says they're going to kill you and you press 0, they may not turn hostile. Or if you end up in a dialogue thread which leads only to an undesirable end, you can abort it entirely. Using this trick may prompt unexpected dialogue and cause quests to reset or abort. You have been warned. Pressing 0, huh? Sean Meskill discovered a way to reset anywhere. Or to rest anywhere. When you have enough status entries, names of locations, that they start to physically appear in the place where the alarm clock entries appear, then you can do the trick. Go someplace where you cannot rest, enter the pit boy, press status, press the alarm clock, then after it says you cannot rest here, click a status item that physically corresponds to an alarm clock item. It will then switch to the rest menu with the rest option that is in the same place as whatever status item you pressed being used. Usually you can't rest very long doing this, but you can do it as many times as you want. Very useful. Once the rest options appear, you have to click in between them. You need quest entries for at least 3 locations to be able to access the rest for 10 minutes option. Here's a cheat from Michael Zalewski. If you are at the brink of an impossible to win encounter and have no other options, you can save your game, go to the main screen, hit Ctrl R and load an arbitrary map, then load your game, walk past the combatants. They will not notice your proximity, and reach safety. Save again, Ctrl R. This is me reading about Fallout 1. And load the last save in the normal mode. Although it's cheating, it is sometimes a better option than replaying several hours of the game. If you feel particularly naughty, you can plant explosives near critters or kill them with super stim packs. What? You can kill things with super stim packs? This also works if you want to avoid certain scripts. The method won't work if you have already entered the combat mode. As a side note, there are some funny consequences to entering the combat mode while in Ctrl R. Most notably, it is possible to get killed, then walk away with negative experience, or HP. Quite unfortunately, you will still remain flagged as dead, so if you save the game and then load it in normal mode, the game will immediately end. Even if your HP is positive, the game may get mangled in Ctrl R mode. On some occasions, it is possible to crash it or be stuck in an endless combat mode. It seems to be a rare glitch. Once you get past Ctrl R and load the game, and load the save, there are no side effects as far as I could tell. Some scripts will still be active in Ctrl R mode. E.g., a guard may prevent you from opening a door even if you won't attack. Experiment at your risk. Okay, let's make our character. So I'm going to make the gifted sniper. Ah, shoot. Okay. So we're going to... shoot. Going to go to load. Alright, I mean new.
Played this one yet?
I have. I wanted to do it over again with a guide. That's what that window was. So, create character. Initial stats, we want strength 6, perception 8, endurance 4, charisma 2, intelligence 9, agility 9, luck 9. What? How am I supposed to get those initially? I'm confused. Let's do traits. Do finesse. Gifted. Ah, I see. So let's do 6, 8, 4.
Control R mode BRO lol.
Why? 2, 9, 9, 9. Okay. We have our stats correct. We have finesse, gifted, tag skills. Should be small guns, lockpick, And speech. Perk progression, see sniper, comments, blah 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 blah. Okay, so I'm getting levels accuracy. So at particular levels it tells me what I should get. And developed stats. Okay. I want to see what options. Oh, okay, never mind. Done. Done.
Ah, you're here. Good. We've got a problem. A big one. The controller chip for our water purification system has given up the ghost. Can't make another one, and the process is too complicated for a workaround system. Simply put, we're running out of drinking water. No water, no vault. This is crucial to our survival. And frankly, I think you're the only hope we have. You need to go find us another controller chip. We estimate we have 4 to 5 months before the vault runs out of water. We need that chip. We marked your map with the location of another vault. Not a bad place to start, I think. Look, just be safe. Okay?
No. That's it, I'm out. What happened to that vault guy? Okay, let me look at the guide real quick, see what it says. Hold on, I need to fix something about... Ah, I see. There we go. Vault 13. Don't drink glowing water. The Vault Dweller. The game starts with a cutscene where the Overseer tells you to be safe as he's kicking you out of the vault. Right. Well, there's a vault door, but you can't get back in right away. Ah, crud. Take the knife and ammo from the corpse. Then kill as many rats as you want for practice and leave. Sure. I'll do that. Oh shoot, I didn't even equip my weapon. Nice, this is gonna be fun. One shot. Damn. Oh, he missed. Good shot. Need 5 action points. Bullshit. Oh, is it my turn again? Alright. Ah, you can't believe it. I didn't even save yet. This game crashed. And memory isn't even too high. I have no idea why this game keeps crashing. Whew. This is my patient face. This is my not patient face. See what's on Discord for a second. Let's see. My back hurts. Okay. Turn the game back on. I don't think I can load a game because I didn't save it yet. God damn it. Okay, new game. Okay, let's do initial stats. So we want finesse and gifted, and then we want strength 6, perception 8, endurance 4, charisma 2, 9, 9, 10, 9. Okay, 6, 8, 4, 2, 9, 9, 9. And then we want tagged skills, small guns, lockpick, and speech. I think that's it. Done.
Ah, you're here. Good.
Okay, I want to save so I don't have to do that again. Okay, so it wants me to kill as many rats as I want for practice and leave. Let's see. You can use the knife to kill them, but I wouldn't worry about using the gun. If you tagged small weapon or small guns at any rate, you'll find plenty of ammo. What equipment you start with depends slightly on your tag skills. Every character will have one knife, one 10mm pistol, 48 10mm something ammo, 4 stimpaks, 2 flares. You may also find yourself carrying, in addition to the above, 24 10mm. Oh, so more ammo. If I picked unarmed, brass knuckles. If I picked throwing, 2 throwing knives. If I picked first aid, 2 stimpaks. If I picked doctor, 1 first aid kit. If I picked steel or lockpick, 1 lockpicks. If I picked science, 2 mentats, 2 buff out. Repair is 1 tool. Outdoorsman, 3 water flasks. If you pass the time until the clock reaches midnight by resting in the cave after defeating all the rats or by moving around on the world map, you can enter the vault. Medic on level 1 will provide healing and then remove radiation. Interesting. If you hit him or kill any vault citizen, he won't talk to you anymore. intelligence less than 4, the medic will give you a stim pack every time you talk to him. Infinite free stim packs. On level 3, use science only. Okay, well, let's just do this. So I need to get this stuff. I already saved it, right? I need to equip my pistol. Shouldn't worry about ammo, apparently. This time I made it so I'm just constantly running, and that the movement speed of rats or of enemies is increased, so then combat happens faster. I just didn't hit them. Ow. 3 hit points. Bullshit. Okay. Man. Blocked. Shit. Oh no. Nice. Shit, how did I miss? 5 action points. Get right up to it. Ah, my mouse died. Alright. Yes, walk right in front of me. Thank you. Cool. Killing all these rats. Let's kill this rat. Let's see, so I can't see any rats over there anymore. Oop, I just walked on top of that rat. Oh. Didn't die? Holy shit. Nice. Why did I just walk? Need to be running at all times. Nice. There's a large amount of rat feces in this area. Alright. It's good to know. Oh god, there are a lot of rats over there, actually.
Rats are bad, Mkey.
Rats are bad. Okay. I was wondering if I could... Yeah, didn't work. Nope. Hey, I got him. Yes, come to me.
Lol.
Oh, shoot. Ow. Killed your brother. Running. Ah, he's after revenge. Oh shit. Oh no. Yeah. Get shot. Oh shit. So many rats died in that one spot. They should be paying me for all this. I'm killing so many rats. Oh, there's a rat there. Who would have known? There's a rat over there. I already just removed all the rats from over here. Alright, let's kill this one. Just like that. Did I hit him? Nope. Oh, he dodged. Coming to me. Ow. Don't hit me. That's right. Alright. Looks like I might have killed all the rats. To the west, you can see a natural light. For the first time in your life, you are looking at the outside world. Okay, let's see what the guide says. If you pass time until the clock reaches midnight by resting in the cave after defeating rats or by... Okay. So I'm just gonna rest in the cave, because I don't give any fucks. Alright, let's rest until midnight. Open sesame. Somebody's asking me if I like Fallout. Hell yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna open this locker over here. Yeah, give me that. Give me those. Typed XD, but then I typed it all lowercase, so it doesn't have the same effect. Let's see. The medic on level 1 will provide healing and remove radiation. I need to find the medic on level 1. Is this the medic? Welcome back. None. That's my name. My name's None. I didn't put a name. Just realized. How goes the search? It's okay. Keep up the good work and let me know if you need anything. I need help. You seem okay with me. Come back when you need me. Oh, I'm already... Since I waited, I don't need any healing. On level 3, use signs on the computers in the room to the left for 350 XP from each. What? But if you fail an intelligence check, you'll simply spend time surfing the interweb. Gain nothing. Okay, I'm doing that. Gonna science the hell out of these machines. Science. Terminal is regular. What? Terminal is regulating vault supplies and functions and performing routine. Did I do it wrong? Failed to learn anything. Did I get experience from that? Doesn't say. Maybe I did and it's just... Wait, did something happen to Twitch? Is Twitch still up? Did anybody have like a hiccup or anything? Let me look at my... So I have 150. No, that shouldn't be right. Thought it said... Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Or is it these computers? Huh. Might be those ones over there. Let's go check it out. Gonna use science all over these machines. Failed to learn anything. Son of a... Gosh. Ah, here we go. Who's this man? Okay. Not learning anything from these. Wonder if it's only the machines that are off or something. It's weird that I can only do actions on things I've seen before. Ooh, level up. What did it say? It said something about... Oh, I like how I minimized my guide so I can look. So for gifted sniper, I can see the perks that I want. Not so sure what to do on a level up. Killed 20 rats so far. Guess I should probably increase small guns, lockpick, and speech. Guess I should just level up the ones I tagged. Okay. Let's just do small guns. %, Jesus. Oops, shit. I need to not do that. Sorry, I'm beating you guys up. Won't happen again. I can control myself. God, not repair. It's only like 2 machines that you can do that on. That's interesting. Okay. Now, ask the guard at the armory about locked doors. And tell her you need this stuff and she'll let you in. Alright. Why would there be a locked door in the vault? To keep the weapons away from those who don't have access to them. Who has access? The overseer. Self and my security, and that's it. Sounds like only people with need, or it sounds like only people with need have access. Yes, only people with need can get in. Well, I have need. Please open the door. I'm sorry, it's a good argument, but I can't let you in.